In short, the small states, the small guys and small girls will not be listened to unless they do something like withholding votes from larger delegations and acting according to principles. Unfortunately, life isn't as simple as that. With aid and economic assistance on the line, most small delegations know where their bread is buttered. Duress and pressure tactics work at the UN. What that pretty much means is that small states today are an ineffective caucus. Does that mean that small states will forever remain ineffective? I hope not, and believe that the situation can be quite different. To be more effective, a small state could do the following. 1, prioritize. Delegates from small states may choose to focus on 1 or 2 particular issues and become a major player in that area. For example, Barbados is a key player in climate change at the UN. The Marshall Islands tries to lead on sustainable development issues. And you have a small grouping called the S5, made up of, they call the small 5 as opposed to the P5, which includes Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Jordan, Costa Rica, and Singapore, which have been trying to improve the Security Council's working methods. A clear sense of priorities helps small countries prepare intensively and coordinate with like-minded delegations. Second, always be well prepared and well organized to the best of one's ability for discussions and negotiations at the UN. A small state which is well prepared and well organized for its work at the UN, which has a political commitment to principles and international law, which is active by inclination and constructive in its initiatives, can play an extremely important role in the work of the UN. Teamwork. We have the Pacific Small Island Developing States and CARICOM often working together as a group to push their common agenda. The PICITs, or the Pacific Small Island Developing States, continue to update each other regularly on issues that were discussed at the UN and which they have not been able to attend. And during the St. Lucia presidency of the UN General Assembly in 2004-2005, and during Antigua's chairmanship of the G77 in 2008, the CARICOM countries got together and provided logistical and manpower support to these 2 delegations, thereby enabling them to play an effective role at the UN. Fourth, be self-sufficient. Perhaps most importantly, for small states to play an effective role at the UN, one has to be self-sufficient in that one should not be dependent on others for economic assistance or financial aid. Of course, none of us can claim to be completely self-sufficient economically, especially in today's integrated and globalized world. But the more autonomous each of us are, the more likely that we will be able to speak our minds and act according to our principles. Well, let me end off by thanking you for listening to me and for not falling asleep during my remarks. I know how difficult it is to stay awake, especially after a good lunch and a good high tea. I say this because a few weeks ago, I was invited to address another group in the afternoon. As I was speaking, I could see literally the audience fading away into dreamland before my eyes. It got to a point where one gentleman sitting in the front row started to not only nod off, but snore rather loudly. I became a little bit embarrassed, so I pointed to the guy next to him and said, "Excuse me, sir, can you please wake him up?" He looked back at me with a straight face and without batting an eyelid, said, "Since you put him to sleep, you wake him up." Well, I'm glad I had to do that today. So I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador. You can see that you certainly won't fall asleep in this one.